This is Fariel, your U.S. and Canadian immigration lawyer, bringing you the most up-to-date information on Canadian and U.S. immigration law. So today what I wanted to talk to you about was one of the updates in Canadian immigration, and this is the most anticipated pilot program has begun to accept applications. This is known as the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program and is also known as the RNIP. Currently, Thunder Bay has made an announcement that they are accepting applications. They are, however, limiting nominations to local applicants only due to COVID-19 pandemic. Now, there are currently 11 participating communities across Canada, and so far 2 recommendations have been issued by Thunder Bay in occupations of NOC, or National Occupation Code Skill Level B. A couple weeks ago, Sudbury also had a draw with regards to their RNIP, and they issued 6 community recommendations. So now Thunder Bay has also announced that they are accepting applications and they are going to be doing their draw obviously soon as well. But however, they are limiting it to local applicants. So unfortunately, those outside of Canada would not be eligible at this time to apply. Now, this isn't new information for us. What we've seen in even the federal immigration realm right now is that even in express entry, the draws are being targeted and are being limited mostly to participants who are already in the country. And again, this is because of COVID-19 and travel restrictions, so that it is easier for individuals or applicants to apply for permanent residency if they are already in the country. And this is also easier for the government to handle as well. Now, as I mentioned, there are 11 participating communities. So which are the communities that are participating? There's North Bay, Ontario, Sudbury, Ontario, and they just had their draw. Timmins, Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Thunder Bay, as we're talking about now, Ontario, Brandon, Manitoba, Altona, Rhineland, Manitoba, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Claresholm, Alberta, Vernon, British Columbia, and West Kootenay, British Columbia. Now you can go on the website of the federal IRCC website, and they have a list of all the communities, and they also list which programs or which communities are currently accepting community recommendations and which are still waiting. Most of them have already started being up and running, but again, there are programs which are being restricted right now to only local candidates due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I will also put a link in my description below with all the participating communities for you to visit and look at their job board as well. The Thunder Bay RNIP is administered by the Thunder Bay Community Economic Development Commission, which is also known as the CEDC, and this is how we will be referring to them. So they run this program in cooperation with Immigration, Refugees, Citizenship Canada, also known as IRCC. Now, this program is geared to provide skilled workers who wish to live and work within the community. So particularly here, who want to work and live in Thunder Bay, they are provided a pathway to Canadian permanent residency. Now, what are the requirements to participate? There must be a permanent job offer from an approved employer. Now, employers are approved by the community. So here they are approved by CEDC, and CEDC will review the employer application, and they base their determination on specific employer criteria that is set by them. Now, if you are an employer that wants to participate, you would need to file an application with CEDC directly. Once an employer is approved, they will be able to post available positions immediately. Now, the positions that they can post, or the ones that they can advertise, must be in priority occupations. So as I was mentioning, that in order to participate, there must be a job offer, but the job offer must also be in a priority occupation. And these priority occupations are determined by the local community, and they are based on the identified labor shortages. So here they're based on the labor shortages within Thunder Bay. So CEDC will then recommend applicants who have skills and work experience that the Thunder Bay economy needs, and they'll refer them to the Government of Canada for final permanent residency approval. Final approval, though, will rest with the IRCC and not with the CEDC. So let's talk about the process a little bit. So candidates must submit the application to the selection committee, the community recommendation committee. So they would submit their application to the CEDC once they have a full-time employment offer. And once they submit this, they will receive a response by the CEDC within a month. Now, if CEDC recommends the applicant, they are able to submit an application for permanent residency directly with IRCC. So the candidate then, once they have the job offer, once they are recommended by the community, they submit an application with IRCC for approval. Now, this may take 1 to 3 months to just get a confirmation of receipt, and this may take a little bit longer with the pandemic right now. So just keep that in mind. The entire RNIP process is supposed to take up to a year. Again, with all the restrictions right now, there may be some additional delays to that. Now, let's talk about some facts about Thunder Bay. Now, why would somebody want to move to Thunder Bay? Before you make a decision on whether you want to move to a community, to a province, or even to a different country, you need to have some information about where you're going to move to. So Thunder Bay is the largest city in Northwest Ontario, and it is one of the cheapest cities to live in Ontario. The cost of living in Ontario tends to be very high within the Greater Toronto area, but in Thunder Bay, this tends to be a rural area, so it is a little bit cheaper to reside there. And it's located in the shores of Lake Superior. The main thriving industries are forestry, transportation, manufacturing, mining, healthcare, and agriculture. Now, Thunder Bay is about 1.5 hour flight to Toronto. If you're one that likes to drive, then it's probably about a 14-hour drive. There are 2 ways that applicants can apply to the RNIP in Thunder Bay. The first way to participate is if you are currently employed in a priority occupation. And the second way to apply is if you are outside of Thunder Bay, or if you are not employed in a priority occupation. So if you are currently employed in a priority occupation, it's much easier for you to apply for the RNIP. First of all, you're currently in Canada and in Thunder Bay, so you are not subject to the travel restrictions. And your employer, your current employer, can apply directly with CEDC on your behalf, and they get approved as an eligible employer. Once they're approved as an eligible employer, they can submit a job offer to you, an official permanent job offer, and then you can then submit an application for community recommendation. So that way is very easy, very straightforward. The second way is when I was saying that you can apply if you are not currently in Thunder Bay or if you're not employed in a priority occupation. Now, unfortunately, if you are out of Thunder Bay currently, you would not be eligible to apply. So that one is not currently a path that you could take. But if you are not employed in a priority occupation and you are currently in Thunder Bay, or you are employed in a priority occupation outside of Thunder Bay. As long as you're a temporary resident within Canada, then you would be eligible to apply, as long as you meet the federal eligibility requirements for the RNIP. Then you have to determine if your skill set is needed in Thunder Bay by exploring the job vacancies. You can search the existing job openings right now if you go directly on the Thunder Bay website. So once you find an occupation or find a job listed that requires your skills, you apply directly with the employer. Currently, there are priority occupations job postings that are listed on the Thunder Bay CEDC website. Now, occupations are divided into 4 areas, and the 4 areas are called national occupation classifications, and there are 4 of them, which are also referred to as NOC codes. NOC 0 are managerial occupations. NOC A are professional occupations. NOC B are skilled workers, technical or trade occupations. NOC C and D are typically semi-skilled laborer occupations. Now, with regards to the IRCC work experience requirement, if you're an international student, you may be exempt from this work experience criteria, depending on specific criteria that you may or may not meet. So if you have a credential from a post-secondary program of 2 years or longer, and you were studying as a full-time student within that 2 years, or you received the credential no more than 18 months before your application for permanent residence, or you were in the community for at least 16 out of the 24 months spent studying to get your credential, or in the alternative, if you earned a master's degree or higher and you were studying as a full-time student for the duration of your degree, and of course if you received your degree no more than 18 months before the application for permanent residence, and you were in the community for the entire length of your studies. You can't apply as an international student if your credentials are in a French or English program that made up for more than half of the program, or if you were in a distance learning program that made up more than 50%. Just to summarize the steps to apply to the RNIP, first you must meet the IRCC eligibility requirements. Then you must also meet the Thunder Bay guidelines for qualification for permanent residence. There are specific factors that an applicant has to meet the minimum requirements. I hope you enjoyed the content provided in this video. Please subscribe to my channel for all the latest updates. Till next time, see ya!